Hi everybody, happy September. Welcome to the 9th month of the year of tea with Lawrenceburg Public Library, sponsored by the library and the Friends of the Library, and supported by you by registering for your programs and coming in and being an active participant. I'm Carisa Bunten with 7th Street Gifts. We're a little true blue brick and mortar apothecary shop in Newport, Kentucky, right by the levee, established in 1999. And we did go to fall hours. We're open every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, noon to 5, and then we're closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I'm back in, so if anybody wants to come make a trip up to the city and make up for lost time or ask questions about your kits or something, this is a great opportunity to do that. So for the month of September, our tea is Irish breakfast tea. And that's just a standard, classic, kind of hearty go-to black tea. And if we get tea when we're out, like a tea bag or order hot tea at a restaurant, this is generally what we would be served and kind of what we're most accustomed to. And then again, I'm going to say it every month, no matter what, this tea, just as all the other ones before it, comes from the origin of the Camellia sinensis. So the tea plant, which is a shrub-like bush that is now cultivated all over the world, but originates from the Middle East and then Indian mountains of the continent of India. And it's just really nothing short of amazing that all the variations of tea that we have, from green to Irish to the smoked tea that we're going to talk about for next month, all come from this single plant. So it's when it was picked, how it was picked, how it was cured, harvested, treated, smoked, or none of those things, and just plucked really fresh and hardly adulterated at all, that gives us the different flavors, colors, textures, and bodies of our tea. So good old Irish breakfast tea is a blend of several classic black teas. So it's a hodgepodge. It mostly contains Ceylon and Assam, and they are the two black teas that we're most accustomed to, and they're blended and cut and sifted together. So they really mix it up, kind of when you're baking and you put your dry ingredients like your powdered sugar and your flour in, and you sift it through to get a really fine, well-blended base. They do the same thing with the teas here, and they blend them together. Pardon me, I'm trying to get over this summer cold that I think we all have. This results in a familiar and satisfying full-bodied black tea. So again, it's the taste of black tea that we're most familiar with. And when you think of it, just remember that it's 2 and sometimes even 3 different teas all blended together. It is a really high caffeine content. It's super similar to coffee, a little bit less, but in the world of teas, among the highest in caffeine. It takes milk and sugar particularly well. And it has a bold, strong, hearty, robust flavor. And it has a strong malty flavor. So just like a malted milk ball or a malt that you would get at like UDF, this has that same malty base. So if you're a person that likes malt or likes malt liquors and things like that, this would be a tea that would satisfy your palate. Now this blend is sort of cool because we've talked about our fair trade, our kosher organic, and how most of the teas, well actually all up until this month, come from faraway lands in India and from established tea plantations. This blend contains some tea leaves from the United States. So in the Carolinas, they have started big tea plantations and cultivated tea. And then also from India, the origin of the tea leaves that we're more accustomed to. But it's kind of fun to think about that these tea leaves in your kit that you'll have this month are going to contain United States of America tea that was harvested just from the southern coast. So we chose this one because it is just a really good way to welcome fall and autumn. It's just that classic morning, kind of when you have your foggy mornings and we're starting to get those nice rains and everything. Just your go-to black tea. And this one is pretty strong, a little bit more potent, and it's a little more concentrated. You know how some of our tea leaves are fluffy and they still unfurl and they're really loose, and you need almost a whole tablespoon to get the robustness and the flavor that you want. Since this is cut and sifted, it's really fine, almost powder-like, and I would use like a your muslin bag or a really fine little sieve, because it does have such a fine powder that you will get a little bit sediment or residue from it. But what I'm getting at is you only need 1 teaspoon teaspoon. So get your teaspoon out and measure it, because you should be able to get several cups and maybe even 2 or 3 nice pots out of your kit this month, because it is such an intensely strong malty bold flavor. It takes much less. And the other reason, not just the flavor, but the density of the tea. Since it is kind of ground and cut and sifted, it's really compact and fine, almost like a coffee ground. So it has a tighter, denser weight. So you need less of it than a fluffy, freshly picked kind of loose leaf tea leaf that isn't as packed and as tight. So you'll do 1 teaspoon over 6, maybe 8 ounces of simmering water. And you generally don't have to bring your water to a full boil for this tea either, because it is so strong. It doesn't take the highest temperature to pull out the flavor. Now if your tea kettle comes to a full boil and you do that, that's absolutely fine. Maybe just steep it a little bit on the less side than the longer side. But the steep time would be about 2 to 4 minutes. You really probably don't want to go over 5, because I think it would get so bitter and have such a strong like tannic flavor from the tannic acids in it that it'd be pretty difficult to drink, or it would take a lot of extra cream and sugar. And so again, I'm just going to revisit the idea of the fine texture and the denseness of this blend. You definitely need to use your muslin bag or a fine tea strainer to enjoy it, so you don't get too much sediment and it kind of takes away from you being able to enjoy the quality of it. So again, the Irish breakfast tea from the Camellia sinensis is a blend of several black teas. It has a really high caffeine content. It's the one most of us are familiar with when we just order a hot tea out at a restaurant. This blend does contain tea leaves from the United States as well as India, and it's just your classic hot black tea. And it does ice, and it ices fairly well, but it's generally consumed hot. It's more of like that coffee-like trade-off of the teas. And then again, it's a fair trade, it's kosher, and everything in your tea bag today and kit, including your muslin bag, is certified organic. And our teas come from Frontier Natural Food Co-op. We buy them in bulk, and then we repackage them in user-friendly quantities, like your kits. And then we can also do custom in-house blends as well. So for the month of September, enjoy your Irish breakfast tea from Camellia sinensis. And when in doubt, pinky out. Thanks, guys.